Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Two Dorks One Mic. I'm Kyle.
And I'm James.
Alright, so, James, what is the first thing on the bucket list that we would like to talk about? Well, first of all, how have you been? Let's how's life? Explain to the fans how life is.
We had a pretty interesting set of conversations with, just moments before we started recording, so we're in a pretty good mood.
Oh yeah, well no, you and I will shoot the shit for like an hour and a half before fucking we record. We're like,
that's just friends.
Yeah, well no, let's record at 11:30. We're like, yeah, totally, I'm down for that. It is 1:10 in the morning.
And I know what you're talking about. It's 11:09 over here. The benefits of being on a 2-hour difference.
You son of a bitch.
Well, just endure with us for like a couple months longer. We intend to fix that. You think we wanted to start this whole thing being thousands of miles apart to perfect our craft? No. You can't keep best buds this apart for long.
Yes.
This is like the bestest long distance friendship ever.
Yeah, this I mean, like I said, this is, if one of us had a vagina, we would be fucking each other by now. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay. It's just that my asshole is an exit only. You know what I mean? I've had like my finger up there, tickle the prostate when you're jerking it. But
no, it's clear. No, it's pretty well established that we're just best buds in the highest degree and nothing else.
Exactly. But no, I love that. Like within the first 2 minutes, we're like, well, this is not safe for sponsors. And as always, today's video is brought to you by no one.
Well, right before we even started, as we were shooting this shit and getting ready for this, I got an email. We got emails from YouTube about how they updated the conditions for their partnership program. So it's basically if you are a low-level creator that doesn't put 110% into what you're doing, you have no chance of ever making money on the site.
Well, and yeah,
sorry, go.
Well, okay, there are channels that I love that I think are freaking hilarious that have maybe 100, 120 subscribers, but yet shit fucking channels about the dumbest shit. And it's not even a taste thing. It's the channel that where it's just oh, here's a woman with big boobs who talks about nothing for 10 minutes, has 100,000 subscribers.
Yes, you're people that are absolutely politically incorrect and people buy into it.
Well, no, and it's the stuff of I mean,
you're manipulating your audience until iDubbbz makes a content comp on you.
Yeah. Well, and it's just that I mean, it's interesting. You and I. We this channel is just kind of a way for us to hey, let's do some stuff. We'll do some shorts once we're actually in the same state, because it's hard to be okay, I'm doing this. Oh, you're doing this. Oh, okay, you're 2 hours behind. Oh, well, I have class. Oh, well, I have homework. Oh, you're trying to go back to school, and jobs and all that. So, but we do this. We do this for fun. I mean, I don't consider us YouTube creators, if that makes sense. We're not an AVGN. We're not a film theory. We're not a game theory. We're not Red Letter Media, and stuff like that with this,
No, what we do here is strictly for fun. Our hobby, our future career is purely for fun.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's a brand. It's a brand that we're trying to expand to larger medias like original series and major motion pictures. But while we have a lot of passionate ideas that can't all get that kind of treatment, we put them here.
Yeah.
And we also can't take all of our talk and discussions about pop culture and everything else and do them like with that kind of budget. So all of the small scale stuff that we want to do that we have a lot of passion for gets put on the channel, while the bigger stuff uses the same branding,
right,
but gets picked up elsewhere.
Right, and
I'd almost say it's like Red Letter Media, where we're clearly not Red Letter Media. We're not as good as them. We are.
Well, we're not hack frauds.
Yeah, like we're not clearly weighing over our heads trying to do all of this different stuff and say it's a production company. It's an idea that's getting off the ground, but we have all the devotion in the world to make it happen because we love what we do.
Exactly, and we just kind of shoot the shit and like talk about what we want to fucking talk about. But
well, that's it should be about. It should be about having fun. It shouldn't be strictly about doing a job.
Yeah.
And that's probably why the YouTube environment's becoming so toxic, because it's all about the money now.
Well, yeah, it like I remember back in like 05 and like 06 and 07 when like it was kind of just like, you could actually just find shit on YouTube, and it was like legitimately there were good and bad channels that were just kind of like, okay, here's people trying something. That's honestly, like, that's how I found, like, the creators that I love, like, AVGN and stuff like that. Like, I mean, God, there's so many YouTube channels.
I remember the days when Smosh was basically just low-budget sketches that were made just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
And now it's all about, how can we maximize the laughs?
And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get us wrong. This isn't us bitching about, like, shit. It's just, it is about us bitching about shit, but it's just kind of like, we're just kind of sitting here more like, not to steal a phrase from the hipster community, I kind of miss the days where everything wasn't, like, calculated down to, like, the smallest fucking point. You know?
Right. It should be about having fun with what you're doing. Like,
yeah.
I say there's supposed to be some professional element to it and some business side to it, but that shouldn't outweigh the fact that you should be having fun with what you're doing. Because I remember there are still like a number of channels that I'm subscribed to, and I can remember the days when they actually had fun with what they do, and now it's just an obligation to maximize the views and the profit.
Yeah. Like CinemaSins, I used to think were funny, but now I don't even really like them anymore.
I'm kind of half and half about it. Like, every now and again, CinemaSins will post something for a movie that I will watch just to see what incorrect things they have to say about it.
Yeah.
I actually saw an interesting video I think a week or two ago, that critically analyzes how CinemaSins is completely incorrect and is nothing more than clickbait. And it posts some pretty interesting arguments, but I think it's people overanalyzing this and looking for something just to get views for.
Right.
Like, the point, like, for something like a channel like CinemaSins the point is just entertainment. It's just to make you laugh.
Well, and here's the thing. If you're getting your reviews from CinemaSins, you're kind of an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay. Like, really? Like, they're not a review channel. They're just...
They said it themselves.
Yeah.
And the video that I watched even brought this up. Like, and saying that it's ruining film critique. If you get your reviews from CinemaSins, you're kind of an idiot. Nobody
goes to CinemaSins to, like, oh, let me sit down and think and see what this critic thought of this movie, Because you can make the like, here's the thing. If they were, like, hypothetically, let's just say they were a review channel, their format would be terrible for reviews. Because you can make any movie look bad using their format. Because, like, if you can take any scene out of context and say, well, the film doesn't address this, They
do it all the time.
Well, that's what they do. And, do I think that's kind of shitty? Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like,
if it entertains you, who cares?
Right. I mean, like, I don't sit there and watch the CinemaSins videos. Like, I don't seek them out like I do, like, other videos from other creators. Like, if I'm watching a bunch of CinemaSins, if I'm watching a bunch of CinemaSins videos, it's because I'm like, okay, I'm vegging out on the couch, drinking a beer. Oh, okay, they did a thing for this movie? Oh, okay, let's see if they got any funny things in them. You know?
Yeah. If you want genuine film critique, read some unbiased reviews online or do it the lazy way and just watch Half in the Bag from Red Letter Media. That's what I always do. If you want a good, decent opinion about a relatively open-minded, somewhat educated opinion about a movie, just watch Red Letter Media's Half in the Bag.
And there are reviews of theirs that I actually disagree with entirely, but they bring enough like, that's what criticism should be. Like, that's actual criticism. CinemaSins is just kind of like, hey, here's a fucking thing. Although I do think their fucking videos are getting too goddamn long.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to the whole kind of clickbaity nature of it, and it's just they're losing touch with the sort of intent of the original intent of their videos. It's like, oh, if we make the videos longer, that means people think we have more things to bitch about and get more views, and it should be okay if you're.
I remember when, like, one of their earliest longer videos was Transformers 4. Because I think they did that in 2 parts.
They did.
Yeah.
And the criticisms were pretty funny.
To be fair, that movie kind of deserved 2 parts.
Yeah. And they did the same thing with the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah. I don't like sand. It's coarse, it's rough, it's irritating, and it gets everywhere.
That sounds like a very ambiguous sexual plan if I could find a way to arrange the pieces to make it so.
Oh my god. When I'm out for drinks, I'm gonna do that now. I don't like sand. It's coarse, it's rough, it's irritating.
Oh, there must be like a caliber of person. That's probably what it feels like to have sex with a caliber of person that I can't think of right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. Not specifically sand people because that would be too easy.
But if they you should only say that if they order a sex on the beach. I don't like sand. But yeah.
I don't like George Lucas.
George is God damn it, George.
George is George.
George is just George.
He's like Curious George, only stupider. Or more stupid. More stupid. Sorry, grammar fail.
The man was once a good filmmaker, but is not anymore.
Happens, unless your name isn't Spielberg.
Well, if your name's Spielberg, you're great.
If your name is Spielberg, is what I meant.
Yeah, if your name is
Spielberg, you don't have this problem.
Exactly. Because here's the thing, Spielberg can be hit or miss, but even his worst movies aren't bad.
Yeah, he keeps making the same kinds of movies over and over again, yet people keep watching them.
What's your favorite Spielberg movie?
Saving Private Ryan.
Have you ever seen 1941?
I think I have.
It's got John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that movie. One of my favorite quotes. There's one thing I can't stand. It's Americans fighting Americans.
Then what would you call the Civil War?
There's one thing I can't stand it's Americans fighting Americans.
And what would you call the political climate today? Just ask that character those questions and see what he has to say.
Fucking sad.
I'm out.
But yeah.
But yeah, that's the current stance of the YouTube climate, just deteriorating. So if you have good ideas and want to express them on the YouTube platform,
go for it.
Go for it, but be 110% and don't think that you're going to get 15 minutes of fame or success quickly. This is something we've been at this for almost a year now.
Speaking of fucking which, can we fucking? Why the fuck is Logan Paul still allowed on fucking YouTube? Fuck him.
I think at this point YouTube is scrambling so much to save face, they are letting things slip by them and are just doing nothing about it.
Fuck that motherfucker. If I ever meet that motherfucker, I'm gonna fucking punch him in the face.
No, here's how you play. Here's how you play it smart. You just make him the butt of all your jokes in some of your movies.
Nah, fucking
Just
like
intentionally call him out in cinema and know he can't do anything about it.
like fucking.
I intend to do.
I never even. Okay, this is all I fucking knew about Logan Paul. I saw one video from him on Facebook like months and months and months ago. I don't know. It was the "What if I had superpowers" one, where like he had superpowers and kept like fucking up. That was like the one video I saw. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cute. And then fucking like never thought about him again. Never gave a shit. Didn't care. Fucking then that video and the forest thing comes out, and then this shit with Japan. Fuck you.
I don't know. I just took a look at his face and seen this guy's probably an ass, and for some reason I was right. Him and his brother.
Oh yeah, fuck his brother too.
They suck. They're just terrible. This is what the Fine brothers could be in like several years when they.
Okay, but the Fine brother, like the Fine brothers, you know. I mean, here's okay. The Fine brothers are not anywhere, in my opinion, as bad as Logan Paul, because at least the Fine brothers had the decency to apologize and stop what they wanted to do, and they didn't really understand what they were trying to do anyway, like with the whole like copywriting React thing, like with the React world.
Machinima said it pretty well back when they reported on this when it happened. You can't capitalize on a verb, if that's how they put it. You cannot copyright something common in the English language.
Right.
You cannot capitalize on something everybody does and own it.
Well, and I think, but that's what, you know, that's why I still subscribe to the Fine brothers. Like, you know, I like the, you know, if I like want to cheer myself up or in a good mood, like I like, one of the funniest ones is like watching like the kids react to like old like cartoon theme songs.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, God, I'm old.
For me, that was the final straw, and I just like, if these guys are going to resort to bullshit like this, I'm done.
I mean, like, you know, they're harmless videos, you know, and at least they ask questions. You know what I mean?
I used to think it was funny. I used to think it was pretty funny, but then I really started thinking about how they do their videos, and it's just, you guys are basically monetizing something that everybody does. We do it all the time. We just have the decency and rational thinking not to monetize it. Oh. I can't stand reaction videos.
I don't like reaction videos either.
I think doing videos on something that everybody does is one of the lowest forms of content making ever. It's so ridiculous.
I mean, like, there are reaction people, like, you know, if I want to see other people's reactions, I'll just go, like, because there are some pretty funny ones. Like, I love the John Boyega reaction to the Force Awakens trailer. Well,
Red Letter Media's Force Awakens reaction video is what, you know, really kind of, you know, made me laugh, because it wasn't even a reaction. It was just them making fun of the idea.
Right.
Like, these guys clearly understand how...
Oh my god!
Every time they just report on the Star Wars fandom and doing, you know, common shit like that, it's funny. That stuff makes me laugh, but we're doing the whole reaction. I can't stand it. It's just so played out, and it's like, it was cute and innocent back in the day, but now it's just gotten out of hand, and like, I can't stand it anymore.
Well, and most of the reactions, I'm sorry, I'm calling bullshit on. Like when we did our fucking talking about like our Infinity War video, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you go back and look at some of the reactions, that's people who are, like, throwing shit around the room and jumping around and shit like that, and I'm like, it's a trailer for a movie.
Yeah, even if it's something that I'm, like, super excited about, like, I'm probably beating a very decayed dead horse at this point, but if the trailer for the Splinter Cell movie ever, like, drops, the day that happens, the movie goes into production, we get some set photos, maybe some teaser images, and we get a fucking trailer, my reaction will be grand, but not to the point where I'm bouncing off the walls with so much enthusiasm, it's like I just took a shitload of caffeine. It's not going to happen.
Well, like, and like, you know, like, there have been trailers that I think are amazing. Like, Like, I loved most of the Justice League stuff, you know? I liked all the trailers for Last Jedi. But you know what I did after I saw them? Sat there, I'm like, huh, that was pretty good. That was really good. I'm looking forward to that. You know? Like, how would these people, people react if, like, fucking they saw trailers in the movie theater? You know what I mean? Like, do they go to the theater and they, like, flicking...
You remember that footage of people going batshit over the Phantom Menace? Footage from way back in the day where people were just losing their fucking minds about going to see the Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
Probably something like that. That's how that would look like. If people were actually...
But, like, here's the thing. I kind of got it for the Phantom Menace. Like, if putting myself in the mindset of back then, I kind of get it, because there'd been nothing like Star Wars for, like, almost 20 years, and, like, you know, like, everyone was kind of excited, and it was like, it wasn't the trailer, it was, like, the actual movie, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay. And what makes it worth it is, like, their reactions when they come out of the theater, where they're like, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
You know?
Heck, I remember going to a pre-screening for the first Avengers film years ago, and it was pretty casual.
Yeah.
Everybody just played it cool. I mean, there were some people that were enthusiastic, like, yeah, we're going to go see Avengers.
And that's, you know, yeah.
But they were pretty contained. I mean, I was there with my brother, my uncle, my aunt. We all went to go see the movie together. Mm-hmm. It was just us. We went to go see this movie, but we all played it really cool.
Yeah.
And everybody else did the same thing. Like, it was a big deal, but it wasn't that big of a deal that we had to flip our minds over this.
Well, like, we're people who are like, and also, I hate...
If like, the Punisher made an appearance in Avengers Infinity War, just surprising everyone, even then, I still wouldn't flip my shit. I didn't even flip my shit watching the trailers for the Netflix show.
You were like this. You would be like, "Oh my god, that looks so good."
No, I would just lean back. I would be all giddy and probably looking excited, but like, "Hey, it's the Punisher! It's awesome!"
Yeah.
I don't know. You see me get enthusiastic, and it's nothing to write home about.
Right. You know.
I play it pretty cool when it comes to these kinds of things, and people need to do the same thing. Like, we get it. Like, stop.
Yeah.
I get it. There's a new Avengers Infinity War Part 1's happening.
Well,
Cool, get jets. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. You know, but it's not like we didn't know this was coming. You know?
No, imagine how many hardcore Daredevil fans are going to flip their shit over the possibility that he might be in the movie.
Oh, okay. Like, I love how we've been talking about, like, shooting the shit for, like, 20 minutes, but, like, I want to, like, get into our first, like, story, like, we're actual reporters.
So,
like, yeah.
That was the discussion about the whole current situation on YouTube and a few other things, I guess.
I mean, like, let's just, you know, actually, I kind of like this formula. Let's just keep shooting the shit, and then just, like, if something comes up, unless we want to specifically talk about something. But, like, okay, I want to talk about this. Like, people were people are like, as much as I think there are some major fucking clickbaity articles on comicbookmovie.com, I don't know if anybody fucking uses that, but, like, you know.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Follow the Twitter page.
Yeah, and then fucking, like, there are some major clickbaity articles on there.
Yeah, every now and again, they'll post, like, the most, they'll post the most, like, I'll see the headline and it will provoke my curiosity, but then I think really critically about it and realize there's just no fucking way.
Yeah. Well, and then, like they post that thing, the Lego thing is like Daredevil reference in an Infinity War. It's gonna make Daredevil fans excited, and it's
I saw a headline, I saw a video, like whatculture.com did a video about it earlier today.
Yeah. And
I thought, what the hell does this mean? And it was just 5 minutes of them talking about
the Lego set.
There's a little something in a leaked photos for a Lego set. Ooh, what's this mean? You are wasting my time.
It doesn't mean shit because there was an Iron Man. I told you this. There was an Iron Man 3 Lego set that had Iron Man fighting the Mandarin on his mechanical armored vehicle.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was that in the movie?
That too. Like, it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Lego.
I mean, sometimes you'll get like a leak. Like Civil War had that major leak. Spoiler with Ant-Man or Giant Man in the Lego set. But like most of the time, it's just like them coming up with creative situations. Yeah.
Yeah. So only like a small chunk of the sets they make are actually based off of legitimate scenes from those movies.
Right.
The rest of them are just sets that just take some of the characters in interesting situations that fit Lego standards.
Right. Well, and then and to be fair, that like Daredevil Easter egg, it was a fucking newspaper stand that had, you know, a reference to the Devil of Hell's Kitchen.
Okay. And the Bulletin.
And the what?
And the New York Bulletin.
And the New York Bulletin. Okay. Here's my thing. Okay? You ready?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody just was a Daredevil fan and said, wouldn't it be cool if we made a sticker and, like, we could put it on there?
Right?
Oh my god! It's almost like it was, you know, I don't fucking know. Like,
well, also use common sense. Daredevil Season 3 is currently in production.
Right.
Now, I imagine a good deal of Infinity War Part 1 production was held under wraps, but we got to see a good deal of it through leaked set photos.
Right.
But I still imagine there's a deal of information we know nothing about.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that Season 3 of Daredevil was in development / production around roughly the same time.
Well, and also,
use your brains.
Everyone thinks Matt's dead. Everyone thinks Daredevil's dead.
I don't. As much as we would love to remove the memory from our brains, did nobody pay attention to the ending of Defenders?
Right? Like, it's kind of like what
in your face.
Yeah. You know, I mean, maybe, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's like maybe they just decided, you know, that they were just like, hey, you know, we're fans of Daredevil. Let's put in a little Easter egg here. It's not going to be a big deal. And then it became a fucking news thing.
Yeah. Especially for you, as cool as it would be to see Daredevil in this film.
Yeah.
It's unlikely.
No. Well, and here's the thing. I don't want to see Daredevil in Infinity War because as a writer, and this is going to be the most pretentious thing I probably say in this fucking podcast, hopefully, there's no room for him or the other Defenders in the story because Thanos in Infinity War is supposed to be a large-scale story. Like, we're getting, like, the big guns for this. You're not going to have a place for Daredevil, and putting him in the film does him a disservice because I can't imagine looking at the rest of the characters that are going to have to dealt with in the story, there's no place for a blind ninja.
Well, we've had discussion about it in the past about the possibility of Daredevil along with the rest of the Defenders and maybe even Punisher showing up in the film.
Right.
But we also talked about how it is bigger picture, and while we have the Avengers and the other heroes associated with them focusing on the larger scale stuff, we have the characters from the Netflix shows focusing on the smaller scale stuff that affect communities.
Well, they should have been, but Jeff Loeb and the other writers of Defenders didn't seem to understand that and decided to make it a save the world plot. Yeah.
Even though I dumb it down to it's still about the city, not the world.
Look at what worked for the Defenders. Daredevil Season 1 is about a guy trying to save Hell's Kitchen from an asshole. Jessica Jones was about trying to stop the Purple Man from fucking being a being a fucking dick. You know, Luke Cage was trying to save his community. What was the other show that came out that tried to be too fucking big for its goddamn britches and fucking faltered under heavy writing and not knowing what to fucking do and was a cheap production? What was the other one? James, do you remember there was a fourth one? I'm thinking Iron Fist.
Something called Iron Fuck. Sorry, Iron Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
Yes, exactly.
Hashtag Iron Fuck.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah, they very well go great distances off the mere idea of being small picture.
And that the least interesting thing about season 2 of Daredevil was the hand. The interesting stuff was the relationship between him and Elektra and the Punisher.
Yeah.
And the relationship between him and Foggy and Karen. That was the strength of these shows because they were smaller scale, because they're more intimate, because they have more time.
Yeah.
That's the sacrifice of having more time, is you get less money than a movie.
Yeah. And even season 1 of Punisher excelled at this too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there are some people that might have, again, I have yet to see one negative opinion about the show. But I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few people out there that were disappointed by a lack of exploding action. Right. I say that with big quotation marks because that really isn't a Punisher thing.
Yeah.
If you've been reading the comic books as long as I have and other people have.
Right.
It's Frank Castle is still a character, and you have to take time to, expand upon his character. As I'm rereading the Garth Ennis run of comics, there are big gaps of character moments in between the shoot 'em up action, and it's great.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the Netflix shows are just so perfect, because they understand that it's about the goddamn characters,
right,
and what they're going through, versus all of these crises, like all these different crises they have to solve that are big pictures. No, it's just about what they're going through on an everyday basis, the struggles and all that stuff. And
I mean,
occasionally,
the outer conflict is always the least interesting thing about the shows. The inner conflict is what's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure, there's some interesting things. I mean, going back to the Punisher, I mean, I cared more about Frank Castle and the supporting cast of characters around him versus the extension, like the surprise extension of his plot from season 2 of Daredevil. Again, I'm not saying that it's bad.
Right.
I was just surprised that they basically just took an already contained story arc and expanded upon it for the first season of the show. But that didn't really matter to me much. It was more about Frank Castle and him and his journey of really understanding his place in the world and what he's supposed to do and how that affects the people around him.
Well, I mean, name what's the most violent thing that happens in the first episode? Because I still think the first episode is like one of the best things Punisher. Like, as a standalone, you could do that as a one-shot, and it'd be perfect.
You totally could.
You could do that as a short. You could have done that as a short, and it would have been great.
We totally could have. And that just goes to show, like, how well it's made.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been, hell, it could have been its own moderately length film, if it wanted to be.
Right. But, like, what was the big action-y scene in the first episode?
A light montage in the beginning, and a light action, and 2 light action scenes at the end.
Right. The rest of it is character in a 52-minute episode.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
Yep.
And again, that's just for the Punisher, and it's the same thing extends to the rest of the Netflix shows.
And now, kind of back to our original point. You can't take those characters, put them in a movie with 60 fucking other people, and have them fight a purple alien god and have them matter.
Oh, I was going to just say have them fight beefed out, dying Josh Brolin.
Purple Homer Simpson.
Purple Homer. I remember that. You showed me that. Yeah, them fighting Purple Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
It's way too, like, it's way too big for them, and
because you either do one of two things. You either have them do one of two things: fight the henchmen and start kicking the henchman's butt. Which at that point, it's like, well,
you could even extend just to maintain the limits. Like, they don't even have to show up in the movie. You could just extend the crisis to the city because it's already been established that they do exist in the same world, even if they don't directly interact with one another. But you could have minor elements of that crisis extend to the neighborhoods that these characters exist in.
Well, I mean, like, if they want to bring in the Netflix shows into the movies, you know what would have been a really good way to do it, or like a simple way to do it in the future?
Yes, what?
Why not have it where, if Peter's like, he goes to the gas station and, to pick up like some milk or something, and Jessica Jones there's picking up a bottle of whiskey, or like, maybe have it.
That would actually be a good idea, but even actually, it's been confirmed. It's actually been confirmed through many details through the first season. Frank Castle operates in Queens.
Yeah,
you could take that idea and just, instead of Jessica Jones, you have Frank Castle.
Or like have it where, like, Aunt May needs a lawyer for something, and she finds Nelson and Murdoch, or not at this point because Nelson Murdoch doesn't exist, but
she finds. No, wait, hang on, I got it. She gets in touch with Foggy's firm.
Yeah,
and then the situation is a little bit too flimsy for him to take on, so she passes it off over to Matt.
Yeah.
Boom. You get two Daredevil characters in the same movie.
Well, Matt's dead. Remember, he's not alive yet.
Oh, yeah. So who's going to be the star of season 3 then?
Yeah, I know, right? It's going to be Iron Fist. He's not only going to get one show, he's going to get 2.
What's going to happen? Is Foggy going to be so broken up over it that he's going to get physically fit and make himself blind and take up the mantle?
That would be amazing. And it's Charlie Cox when he puts on an obviously really bad wig.
They just do a role reversal,
right? Or like have it where you just, I mean, like, if you could do I'm surprised they haven't done that in a movie, because you could do that in a day. Like, you're telling me you couldn't have Kristen Ritter in costume be in the gas station where Peter goes to get milk,
right?
Like, you don't even have to draw any attention to it. Just be like, oh yeah, okay, she's there.
No, yeah, they don't even have to interact. It's just like he's just waiting in line to ring up to purchase the milk, and then she just gets in line behind him, and that's it.
Yeah.
No interaction, no dialogue. It's just, oh, hey, here's Jessica Jones.
Yep. And
then Frank Castle just looking from somewhere else because the Punisher.
Right. Or what would be even better? Have the thug that every single one of them interrogates be interrogated by Peter Parker. Because that's only a reference that the Netflix fans would get.
Okay, I must have. I don't follow. What exactly were you on?
Remember, there's what's his name? Do you remember the guy in season 2 that's selling weapons to the guys in there, and he's like, "Come on, man, I just..."
Oh, that reoccurring character that nobody gives a rap ass about.
But I mean, he's kind of fun to have around every once in a while.
Yeah,
but
especially when mugged by Castle in The Punisher.
Right. But I'm just saying, it would be, he shows up in every show. Maybe Peter goes ties him up in a montage because of, he's robbing a place, or maybe he stole something. Simple. Yeah. You don't have to draw any, if you want to do this, do it, which people are like, oh, you have Daredevil become friends with Spider-Man. No, you don't need to do that yet. I want it done eventually because I want that.
If they really, Well, again, I mean, even Spider-Man: Homecoming is a pretty grounded story for the most part. There's no world-ending crisis. It's just Spider problems in the most cinematic way possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just him going through typical Peter Parker Spider-Man issues, and then there's a superpowered villain doing shit that he has to deal with.
Right.
It's grounded.
Yep.
For the most part.
You know.
So you could.
I mean, literally, they established Jessica Jones is in the phone book.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
yeah.
You could literally have it where like they're going through the phone book and you just see Alias investigations.
Yeah, and you don't have to be on the nose and have all these characters show up in costume, kicking ass. It could just be simple, kind of in-your-face cameos that just show, hey, they're here too.
They're here too, but you know they're in their own subworld. You know,
they got their own shit to deal with.
Right. You know,
and that's another thing. Like that, if this is gonna happen, don't bring them in on the action.
Oh, you know, it'd be hilarious.
That should be a rule.
That'd be hilarious. Like, okay, I just thought of something funny. Sorry, I just thought, okay, maybe, either Peter or like, Peter's like, maybe Peter wants to bring some booze to a party because, you know, he's a teenager, he wants to be cool, and he asks Jessica Jones to buy him booze.
I guess take a couple pages from the Ultimate Comics, I could buy that.
Right?
Right? Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun. She's like, no. How dumb do you think I am, kid? And that's it. You know, you don't need to make a big deal out of it.
No, she just takes the bottle from him and then just drinks it right in front of him.
No, she takes the money, buys the booze, and is like, well, give us the booze. This is my booze.
It's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, kid. This is strictly for me.
Yeah, it's strictly for me. You know? And that's it. You don't need to have it referenced in the Jessica Jones show. You just, okay, here's Jessica Jones going to buy some booze. That's all you need. You know?
If they really want to go the extra mile, they could just have those same bottles of booze just empty on her desk.
Yeah.
Be like, oh yeah, that happened. Must have been a fun night.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of fucking
castle show up somewhere.
Speaking of fucking Spider-Man, do you believe this whole? No, like I'm just, you know.
No, these are just really good ideas that could balance things out while I just try to hold back my urge to just put the Punisher in every single Marvel thing from this point.
Yeah, we're gonna have.
Not actually though. I just say that as I just say that jokingly.
He's gonna show up in he's gonna show up in Doctor Strange.
What?
He's gonna show up in Asgard.
No. He should be in Spider-Man in the Homecoming sequel. Because technically before this, Tom Holland and John Bernthal actually started a movie together.
Yeah.
So it's be like, hey, we're in Marvel. You and I are both in Marvel stuff now. Could you do me a solid and put me in your sequel?
Yeah. But yeah.
Like, it technically happened. The Spider-Man and the Punisher had a lot of run-ins together. Make a lot of fans happy. Let's make it happen. You and me, dude.
Yeah. But no, do you believe this whole thing, speaking of like cameos and shit, do you think that like Tom Holland's actually going to show up in the Venom movie? Because, like, there are, like, reports of this now.
Hell no. Unless someone's singing a different tune last second, it's been said time and time and time and time again. This movie is in its own bubble.
Yeah, which is still weird to me, because it's like, how does the symbiote get the spider powers?
Well, what I was also going to say is that it's in its own bubble, and we don't exactly have the precise details on what that explicitly means.
Right.
Does it mean, is it completely self-contained in its own universe, in its own, like, pocket universe that isn't even associated with Spider-Man? Or is it its own bubble where Spider-Man exists, but this is Venom's story, so he's not mentioned, referenced, or seen?
Which is still kind of, because I still want to see Tom Holland wear the black suit.
I think you could have your cake and eat it too, but keep them completely unconnected. What I'm thinking here is, what I think would be the best possible situation for this is one, if Venom isn't a fucking origin story.
You know it's going to be.
if it shouldn't be, if it isn't an origin story, and it's as simple as it's say a month or a few years, and Brock already has the symbiote. Symbiote is doing his own thing. It's never explained how we got it. It's never explained where it's from. None of that. It's just he has it. Use your imaginations to fill in the gaps.
Right.
This is Venom, and it's all about Venom. None of the other details matter. This is what it's about. And then, in another Spider-Man related thing, he could get the symbiote and set that up, and then we can put those pieces, and then we can put them together.
So
what I'm driving at is we can have a kick-ass Venom movie that stands on its own 2 feet without Spider-Man making any kind of appearance in it, and it can still be attached to the MCU. It can still be connected to all the other stuff, but without actually being directly connected in the way where appearances need to be made to establish that.
It's just weird to think that, like, this all started because of Iron Man, a good movie that had, like, no script and was just kind of, like, a risk. Because people were like, oh, let's just do this based on an actor that, like, was trying to come back to relevancy.
Well, it's been... Well, I mean,
it is. Like, this is where it came from.
Well, I mean, it was more of a risk when Tom Cruise was still interested.
Yeah.
And then he dropped, and then Robert Downey Jr. It was a gamble with him.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, all right. What do we got to lose?
And then Nicolas Cage. Don't forget Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
It was just a matter of what the hell do we have to lose? And it worked. And it worked out spectacularly. And now 10 years later, we have all this.
Yeah. God, it's been 10 years since Iron Man came out.
Yeah, to feel old yet? I mean, I don't know. It's getting too big for its britches, and I think we need to remember that there can still be contained, grounded stories, and stuff like Venom could be the key to that, alongside the Netflix shows. Obviously, we not every. It should really just be the simplistic. All right, here's a grounded crisis involving our protagonist. Maybe there's an iconic villain in there somewhere doing something evil, and that's it. None of this. Oh, I have this master plan to end the world, and you alone have to stop me. Stop it.
This is gonna maybe show my nerd cred a little bit too much, but like, I would have been more excited for Infinity War if instead of Thanos coming out of the portal, it was Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. Because at least Bill Cipher has a personality so far.
And hey, it's a Disney thing. It could totally happen.
Right? Like,
I mean, the Avengers got to cross over with Phineas and Ferb, so this should totally happen.
Dude, like, come on.
And then Rick and Morty make a cameo?
Oh my god, that'd be great.
They're all connected!
It's all one universe. No, but like, would you not be more excited if, like, it was a bait and switch and they just fought Bill Cipher?
Wasn't Bill Cipher voiced by J.K. Simmons?
No.
Why am I thinking J.K. Simmons? Who the fuck did the voice?
The creator of the show.
Really? Alex Hirsch?
Yeah.
Why did I think J.K. Simmons? Wait, I'm pretty sure he was a character on that show.
He may have been in it once or twice, but I don't remember, like, I know he didn't voice Bill.
I've seen a good chunk of episodes from that show, but I haven't seen all of them. Not even the conclusion, so.
Oh my gosh. You know.
No, it's a good show, I just haven't seen all of it.
Right. Because, like, imagine, like, if, like, you know, Bill's fighting, like, Cap, and he's like, oh, man, it's a firework. You deserve a head that's always screaming. You know, like, at least Bill has a personality. Because at least he would be fun. And
then Spider-Man getting the shit kicked out of him would have been more hilarious and campy.
Exactly. You know? Like, he comes up and starts singing, "We'll Meet Again."
We need to, alright, before it's too damn late, we need to get working on the rewrites.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
we need $30 million to do reshoots.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, because but, like, I say this as a joke, but, like, Thanos doesn't have a personality yet. Like, come on. You know? Like, let's...
I think I've said it before. Josh Brolin's just is gonna have a blast. Probably had a blast making the film.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
But I'm pretty sure he just phoned it in.
I don't think he phoned it in because I don't think Josh Brolin's that kind of actor.
Well, I'd rather not say phone it in, but that's like the only thing I can think of.
I don't think they gave him anything to work with.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it.
Because
like,
if Marvel can't handle normal villains in their movies, how are they going to handle the big bad? I mean, this is...
They should have built up. They should have done Kang They should have done Kang instead. Kang. And built up to Thanos.
Do you really want to wait? Do you really want 10 more years of build up for fucking Infinity War at this point, though?
Well, I'm saying, like, just undo all of that shit and just,
yeah,
build it up when the pieces are right. I get the feeling that this is that even after all this building up, it's still kind of premature.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm saying. Either Bill Cipher, Bill Cipher. You know what I mean? Like, let's just have him in there. Because at least that would be interesting. Because, like, no one would expect it.
No, they wouldn't. Or what if we pulled a full fucking 180 and just made Loki the villain again?
No, we can't.
Instant fans rejoice.
We can't have Loki be the villain again. He's the only antagonist in any of our films that have actually worked.
Oh, and Red Skull didn't?
For, like, the 15 minutes he was on screen. 8 of them being...
Hugo Weaving and have him come back. This would have been better.
8 of them just being normal Hugo Weaving.
Or Baron Strucker, if they didn't kill him.
The real Mandarin.
The real fucking Mandarin. Not the quote unquote politically correct version in Iron Man 3. We're talking the real, actual antagonistic Mandarin from the fucking comics.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I love Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 is still my favorite MCU movie, but I want the real Mandarin.
No, that was one of the biggest reasons I was excited for the movie. Like, they're gonna have the Mandarin. Wait, why does he look Muslim? The fuck? Didn't exactly do a spit take, but I leaned back in my chair and said,
well, to be fair, you can't really do the way the Mandarin looks classically. You cannot do the Fu Manchu thing now. Like, I wouldn't want that.
Why? That'd be too racist?
Yes! I'm gonna put my foot down and say that's a little too racist. With the buck teeth and the long hair and the Iron Man.
Not even the more modern take of that classic Mandarin.
I would be okay with like the modern take, because
that's the one I'm picturing. I'm not picturing.
Okay, you're not picturing like Stan
Mandarin.
Lee era.
I'm picturing original Mandarin, but the modern take that's a little bit more.
So like the Matt Fraction Mandarin.
Yes.
I could see the Matt Fraction Mandarin being done.
The chiseled features, the long dark hair, the facial hair,
yep.
The green tarp-like cloak, 10 rings. All.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
That would have been amazing.
Right. And Ben Kingsley, I think, was actually good casting.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, what's the name of the guy from Godzilla? The one who's like, let them fight.
You know what? That's exactly who I was thinking of. Although I was thinking of his character from the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Okay.
I was thinking, oh, hey, let's get that guy. He'd be perfect. This is the amount of level of sync we have in this friendship.
I haven't seen the third Pirates movie in years, but...
No, the picture just... I don't remember much of it. I remember snippets, and that's one of the few I remember is how good that villain was.
Right. Well, and then, they said, I'm just thinking, like... No, like, it's just weird that we literally thought of the same person. That's kind of funny.
Like I said, that's how in sync we are.
Yes. But, no, I'm just thinking, like...
I just find it funny that you thought I was thinking of, like, the racist version of the Mandarin.
Yeah, I'm like, because you said classic, and I'm like, how classic are we talking here?
Classic as in when he was still Asian.
Yeah.
Not political cartoon.
Well,
Asian.
I thought it was kind of interesting. Like, don't get me wrong, I still love the movie, but like looking at it objectively, I'm like, okay, so you took a character who's like one of the few Asian representations, like, in, like, the two big comic book companies, and turned him into a white guy.
Pretending to act Middle Eastern.
Well, no, like, they turned him in, they made him Middle Eastern, even though he was played by a British actor, Ben Kingsley. And then he wasn't the real Mandarin, Aldrich Killian was the real Mandarin, and he was white.
Yeah, it was...
I'm not saying, like, I'm not saying anything.
That was a good plot twist. I just wish they didn't have to waste it on that. Like, if you're going to show us the Mandarin, I expect the Mandarin.
No, like...
If it wasn't that plot twist, I would have been more pissed.
It would have been funny, it would have been interesting if, like, the plot twist was, no, Ben Kingsley was really the Mandarin the entire time, and he was just fucking...
He is the real Mandarin if you watch the one-shot that they released after.
Which, is that ever going to get paid off?
Have any of the one-shots ever paid off?
No. But, come on.
There was a time when I thought they were going to, but they just make them for shits and giggles. Well, I honestly thought the characters from that Avengers one-shot were going to be in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that never happened.
Right.
Not like, why the hell are you making these then?
Yeah. Well, they stopped for a while, didn't they? They've stopped those, right?
I'm not sure. I just know that this is basically the cinematic equivalent of, like, Marvel What Ifs.
Right.
Where we just take very mellow, quote-unquote, batshit crazy ideas and make them into shorts that we release. And it's just... I mean, if you're gonna make...
It was cool. Like, what I loved about the All Hail to the King one was, like, at least we got Sam Rockwell back.
Yes, Sam Rockwell was awesome.
Sam Rockwell was amazing.
He is amazing. That's very underrated.
I mean, you know...
He's an underrated guy. Like, he does good work.
Did you see...
Great villain.
Did you see SNL this last week?
I haven't seen SNL since 2009.
Okay, because he hosted this last week, Sam Rockwell.
Oh, good for him.
Yep. But, I mean, here's the thing. SNL is, like, one of those shows, is like, when it's bad, it's really, 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 really bad. But when it's good, it's good. You know, and you kind of have to pick and choose. You kind of have to know which hosts are good, which hosts are bad. You know?
Kind of like Marvel movies in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Well, any comic book movie around that time, really. Let's be honest, let's not limit it to Marvel here.
Let's not. That's an unfair thing to say.
Yeah, let's not limit it to Marvel.
Aren't you kidding me?
Well,
sorry. To anybody that actually likes Superman Returns, I don't.
And if you like Superman Returns, you're wrong.
No, I'm not saying that you're wrong.
I'm saying that they're wrong.
Oh, okay. Because me personally, I just didn't like it. Saw it once as a kid, saw it once as an adult, still don't like it.
You can drive fucking plot holes through that fucking... you can drive trucks with the plot holes in that movie, as Kevin Smith once said.
The silver lining? Kevin Spacey, before the controversy.
Spacey.
Basically a bald Frank Underwood.
God.
That was before House of Cards.
You know, it changes, it makes Baby's nickname a little more concerning. Why Kevin Spacey calls him Baby. Baby Driver.
I haven't seen that. I still haven't seen that movie yet.
Oh my god, dude! Fucking what?
You just dented it just a little.
Oh no!
No, don't get me wrong. I'm an Edgar Wright fan. I love his movies. I just haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Edgar Wright's so good. But and John Bernthal's in it. What the hell?
Yeah, well, I was excited for it because I saw him in the trailer. I'm like, oh my gosh, John Bernthal's in the movie. That's awesome. And then you told me he's only in it for like a couple scenes, and then that just killed my shit. You got one of your most relevant faces in film today, and he's barely in the goddamn movie.
Yeah.
What the hell? He's basically an American Tom Hardy. The guy basically spent years building his career up to how it is now, and he's in a lot of big movies. And you're just going to give him, 15, 20 minutes of screen time? The fuck? Is that shit?
Yeah.
The man deserves better.
Yeah. And then,
Damn it.
But, no, Yeah, it's just it all comes back to John Bernthal on this show.
What? I mean, if it was all about Tom Hardy, it'd be coming all back around to Tom Hardy.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
and all the people that are probably pissed at him because of the Venom thing.
Like, okay,
there's nothing to get pissed off about.
Well, no, you misspoke. There's something to get pissed off about because there was nothing. There was nothing.
I'm not going to try. No, like
we marked it on our calendar that said, "Hey, we got to pay attention because we have to make a video specifically when they do something about Venom." And what did they fucking release, James? What did they release? Tell the people what they released for Venom.
An official photo of Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock.
Does his hair look different? Is he sporting any new facial hair? Is there any scars? Anything that just like if you had shown this picture to someone and said, "What movie is this from?" would they have not said? Would they have guessed Venom?
I would have guessed any other Tom Hardy movie from the last couple of years.
Right.
Oh, I would have guessed. Oh, is this a picture of him as Ames from Inception?
Oh my god, he actually does kind of look like Ames from Inception. Holy shit! Like, you know what would have been a better picture to release? The one they already released of him in the apartment.
Yeah. Well,
because that picture at least gave us like, okay, this is kind of the tone. This is the way Eddie Brock looks. You know, and kind of like he looks kind of like a drug addict. Which I thought was kind of...
I understand, like, and it doesn't help that he's nicely dressed in that picture.
Yeah, like, well, and I guarantee you that's before the symbiote.
Possibly.
Like, you know...
Well, the thing about it is that one thing that irks me is, don't get me wrong, Tom Hardy's a handsome man. I've probably said it time and time again on this podcast alone, and outside of it, many times more.
Well, as we said, the three sexiest people on this podcast are Tom Hardy, Sam Rockwell, and Idris Elba.
Sam Rockwell's a handsome man, but he's not, like, top tier.
Yeah, but, like it's his personality that brings him up to that level. You know what I mean?
Humor makes up for it.
Yeah. He's
not... I would still give top tier spot to Keanu Reeves.
Well, I mean, it is Keanu. All right, you know.
But the thing about Tom Hardy is that I really want to ask somebody this, like, why does he not look like Eddie Brock? Like, Hardy's a shredded man in real life.
Right.
Which get past all the tattoos he has.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's pretty well built. But you had an opportunity, but on top of making this movie that probably would have never gotten made, you had an opportunity to really deliver some fan service and give us any of his, you know, more distinct looks from the comics, and they didn't deliver on any of those.
You couldn't have done, like, you know what, you didn't even have to do, all you had to do was maybe have a scene of, like, Eddie Brock looking into the dark alley, and maybe, like, the silhouette of the symbiote.
Oh, I was going to say, if you really wanted to make him look like Eddie Brock, you just give him... Don't even have to fully dye his hair. Just give him frosted tips like Chris Evans.
Yeah.
You don't have to go all out to make us buy it. It's just a little bit of detail would have gone a long way.
Right. Well, and that was the thing. Like, it looked like, okay, this looks like Tom Hardy.
From that movie made 6 years ago. No, wait, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
8 years ago. Which isn't a bad thing. You look good in that movie, too.
Yeah.
But...
Never be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
Don't even get me started about his accent.
That was my favorite. That was the moment I fell in love with Tom Hardy. That was the moment I'm like, I love this guy from Inception.
I don't know what's the time what exact moment I fell in love with the man, with his work. I can't even recall, like, what's the first thing I saw him in. Inception is the most notable thing, but I'm pretty sure I saw him in something before that. But I just sort of became very interested in his work and his career, and just instantly became a diehard fan. And Mad Max Fury Road was like the icing on the cake. Like, after that, I was just, this man is beyond amazing.
Right. I mean,
but
Bane concerned me a little bit because I'm like, oh no, and then like it was like, oh okay, that wasn't his fault.
Yeah. It wasn't. It was.
You know.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. We should get a dub of the movie that actually has the original unedited dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about the original dub of his voiceover before they cleaned it up more for the final cut. I'm talking all of his original lines.
Because he did it with a Caribbean accent.
Yeah, I'm talking all of his lines he had to voice out of the mask.
Right.
No cleanup, no editing. Just straight up him talking out of the mask.
Yep.
I want to see that cut of the movie.
Yeah. Because maybe I wouldn't have to have subtitles on. Because there are still moments in the film where, like, if the subtitles aren't on, it's like, you know,
I just fill in the gaps of my head with funny words. I just come up with new lines every time.
You know,
and I just nod my head like,
mm-hmm.
like I know what he's saying, when in reality
he
I don't.
sounds like the parents from Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
James is dying, everyone.
So down. He's so down. Maybe he was the dad the whole time. And he just started taking vocal lessons.
Oh my god, yes.
Now we need another cut of the movie where he basically just sounds like a parent. No, we need to get somebody on this to just edit the movies to do this.
Yeah.
No, wait, we need to keep the ideas to ourselves for the YouTube channel.
Yeah, my god.
Nobody take those ideas. Nobody take them. They're ours.
Totally. Well, I'm surprised nobody's done that. Like, everyone's done, like, the Cat Bane videos, or, like, you know, where, like...
There's actually... I saw a really funny fake blooper reel of, like, alternate recordings of his lines from the movie that were actually really funny. Mm-hmm. There was actually a really funny scene, bit from that video where when they're at the football stadium and he's doing his big speech about the bomb. That entire scene is him doing a rap.
I've seen that. I've seen that one.
Yeah, the Bane rap.
Mm-hmm.
I could never forget. I'll never forget it. It's too funny.
Have you seen Bane Cat?
Yes.
Bane Cat was funny.
Bane. It's like Bane loses all of his intimidating features when you make him a cat.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing: he loses some, but also kind of gains some. Because if you came home and saw your cat dressed as Bane and it started speaking, would you not be intimidated?
No, I would get all, oh, you look so adorable, until the cat, carries me with amazing strength and breaks my back over his knee.
Exactly. He's like, I peed on everything.
Aw, aren't you just a little adorable?
Well, who wants to destroy Gotham?
Now I will break you.
Yep. Who wants to destroy Gotham? You're such a good kitty. You know. I'm surprised that guy never made any more Bane Cat videos. Because, like, there were, like, only, like, 4. I mean, I'm glad it didn't go on too long, like, something like Joker blogs. Do you remember that?
No, I never saw those.
Okay.
Because I guess some people don't know how to capitalize ideas, and some do and drag them out for way too fucking long.
Well, like, I'm glad that it didn't go on too long, because, like, I can go back and watch those videos, and those are still funny, but, like, it would be hard to maintain that level of comedy You know, and especially if you just want to go do something else.
Well, look at the Lego Batman videos. Basically making Batman look like a sadistic ass since the late 2000s, and those videos are not getting as frequently made as they used to be.
Right, you know.
I mean, they're still funny.
Right.
They're just not being made as much as they used to be.
Right.
Because it's hard to make Batman look like a jackass.
Well, I mean...
in the way that those videos do.
Yeah. But...
I mean, his reaction to Ben Affleck being cast as Batman still makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm just going to use all of my wealth to just shut down the production.
Oh,
and fell asleep during the town!
Yeah. Did you, speaking of Affleck, did you hear the rumor that, that Gyllenhaal is going to be the replacement?
If it happens.
If it happens.
And, yeah, and I knew this was coming.
Here's my thing. It looks, I hate to admit it, it looks like he might actually leave the role. But, like, what I fucking hate is that, like, all these, like, stupid, fake-ass, pussy-ass, lying, bitchy motherfuckers, yeah, I said it, fight me, John Campea, and, like, all these other fucking assholes, are like, see, fucking, he left the role, I called it. Yeah, you said he was gonna leave 2 fucking years ago. And you were literally fake news.
It's like, yeah, don't run around breaking an arm, jerking yourself off to this.
Right. And it's like, really? You're gonna sit there and say, like, you're gonna take pride in the fact that you pushed a good actor out.
Alongside many other people, as it should be added.
Right. This isn't good.
Granted that if it does happen.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. Gyllenhaal, this is what the other people should say. I've heard a rumor. This is not 100% true. It's through the vines. This is just what I've heard. It's a rumor. Repeat, this is a rumor. I've heard that Gyllenhaal really wants a superhero role.
Yeah.
Because he apparently lost the Spider-Man role, and he lost the Batman role in Nolan's trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like, Gyllenhaal's a really good actor, and I would be fine with him playing Batman. I just it's gonna suck if we lose Affleck.
It is.
You know?
It really is. Like, excluding Nolan's trilogy, I mean, this is really the best thing to happen to comic booky style Batman in years in film.
Right.
And to see a talented man like Ben Affleck walk away, potentially walk away, if going off of the rumors, then shit. We've said it. If it happens, it's because we did it.
Yeah.
We pushed him.
Yeah.
And we're gonna reap what we sow, and it's gonna be awful.
Yeah.
And I've got nothing against Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, maybe he could surprise us.
Yeah.
I mean, damn well surprised me with Nightcrawler and Enemy.
Yeah.
Those are really well-made movies.
I mean, he's a great actor, and I'm looking forward to to seeing what happens. So, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, but I still want Affleck to stay in the loop, and I have a feeling he will. It's just, I think he's just fucking with us right now. Well, he knows what's going on, and he's just busting our balls until another project moves forward, and he can reassures all of us, saying, "Yeah, I'm not going anywhere."
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you know, like, I mean,
potentially, I'm not assuming.
Right. I mean, like, fucking, I mean, going back to almost 6 months ago at this point, when he was at Comic-Con, and he gave that great thing where he was like, listen, I love Batman. Being Batman's awesome. You know, I love Matt Reeves. I would be an ape on the fucking ground for that guy. You know, let alone be Batman. It's not like, you know, people are like, oh, he's just saying that for the con. He didn't have to put it in that way. He could have easily just said, look, those are just rumors. You know?
Yeah.
But the fact
And
that he went and said, "Hey, look, I'm fucking doing this shit," and he was there promoting Justice League, and honestly, I mean, my opinion, I think people are overreacting to Justice League, because, like, I've seen reviewers be like, "Oh my god, Justice League is terrible. It's the worst movie ever made. It's so bad."
Well, didn't we all overreact to Dawn of Justice and he was still in Suicide Squad and Justice League?
To be fair, he was contracted for 3.
Still, though.
Right.
I mean, I'm aware of that, but still, though.
Right. I mean, well, and that's the thing.
And if I'm going to bring, like, a slightly parallel example, look at Chris Evans.
Yeah.
His contract went up, and he's still in.
Well, he signed to finish Avengers.
Yeah, he signed to finish this, but
yeah,
he had his chance. If he really wanted to, he could have walked out.
Right.
But he's still in. He's not going. He's made it clear he's not going anywhere. Yeah. And I even remember back a couple of years ago, there was a whole bunch of hyped up news saying, "Oh, he's going to therapy. He's suffering from extreme anxiety." If you guys know what this man's like in real life, you realize that he suffers from those. That he suffered from that stuff prior to being Captain America.
Well, and also, it's none of our damn business if he's going to therapy.
Yeah, it really isn't. It's his personal life. It kind of goes back to like a conversation we had before we started recording. Like he's just a person.
Yeah.
He has his own life, his own stuff going on, and I think we would be paying him a lot of respect if we just kept our distance and let it be that way.
Well, and here's the thing. It's like they're actors. Like, they go to their job and they go and do stuff, and yeah, they're awesome and entertaining. But I'm gonna shatter something that people don't seem to understand. Celebrities are people too. They eat McDonald's and like they're lazy and they like have embarrassing moments and like want to live their lives and be left the hell alone.
One of the biggest pictures of 2018 was just Keanu Reeves just going to the grocery store on his motorcycle.
Yeah, like what the hell was that? Like
that was nothing.
Yeah.
It was just shit he does in his everyday life.
Yeah.
And then he took a picture with a kid. Nothing eventful happened. That's just him every goddamn day.
Right.
Surprisingly looking good with even longer hair.
Yeah. But no, like...
but...
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. They're just normal people. It's just their lives are publicized, and we have to make a big spectacle out of it.
Yeah.
If that worked for every industry, it probably wouldn't matter as much.
Right. I mean, would you want people following you around with cameras, hoping to for you to screw up so they can take something out of context?
No, honestly, no.
Would you want people going through your garbage and be like, "Oh my God, James, went to Burger King. Is it because he's poor? Is it because he's fat? Is it because he's suicidal and depressed?"
No.
It's
and if the day ever comes, it's probably just going to be a situation of just telling people, "I'm like you."
Well, it's like this sad Keanu meme that happened. You remember that when that was?
Yeah, it's just him in his everyday life. We can't blame him that he looks sad and depressed almost all the time. That's just his normal face.
He's got resting sad face.
I get the same shit all the time from people all the time that on first looks, people think I look like a sad, angry person.
When I first met you, I thought your dad had just died.
Yeah.
Or something.
That's just how I look in just normally.
Yeah.
Because I just made the wrong life choice and it just stuck permanently on my face.
Exactly. As to me, I just look like high all the time.
This is true. He kind of does.
Yeah.
He looks like he's always in a good mood.
I know. It sucks.
That's good energy.
No, and it's the bipolarism is what it is. It's mostly
bipolar's such a bitch.
It's most of the time you're up here, even when you feel bad, you're like, son of a bitch, god damn it. And then when you're low, you're just like, god damn it. you know. But yeah,
it's just a thing. It's just how we are as people.
Exactly, you know. And who, honestly, I don't give a shit what if fucking a celebrity went and got, like, you know, if they went out and did something, like, yay for them.
Right. It would, as much as we talk about, like, if we got to meet our favorite celebrities in a public place and how we geek out, I think, and I'm not speaking for everyone, I think the reality is if it were you or I,
Yeah,
it would just be a matter of, like, oh, hey, you're so-and-so. Cool.
well, like, I was at a con, like, a couple years ago, and, like, Cisco from The Flash walked by, and he was, like, talking to a couple people, and, like, you know, he was standing around, and I was just like, you know, he was talking, I was just like, oh, hey, dude, you're awesome on The Flash. Like, that was it. You know?
Yeah, normal people.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I look off to the side at my awesome John Bernthal Punisher figure, if I were to meet him in real life, because that's not creepy at all. I'm just a collector. I love all my Punisher merchandise.
Do you have a collection of his hair with you as well?
Fuck no. No, I just loved him so much on the show, like on the show, that I just had to get a figure with his likeness to add in my collection to say,
yeah.
Hey, I'm a Punisher fan, but I also specifically love John Bernthal as the character.
Right, you know.
But if I were to meet him in real life,
yeah,
it would just be a matter of, oh, hey, you're the Punisher. That's awesome. You do great. You do kick-ass work. You're my favorite version of the character in film. Keep up the awesome work.
Yeah.
If it was a more social setting, I'd say, hey, you want to get a drink and talk about stuff?
Or I just, you know, well, like, if you were like, yeah, that kind of thing. Or, like, you know, for me, I'd just be like, oh, hey, do you mind, are you busy enough for, like, you just get, like, a picture really quick? And if not, cool.
Not the kind where you're like, oh, hey, I met so-and-so in public. And just be like, hey, I met this guy or girl. Cool.
Yeah.
Like that youngin that got to meet Keanu Reeves in the middle of a fucking grocery store.
Which is still fucking awesome. Good.
No, it's
good for that kid.
He's just a normal. What I like, he's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen videos, I've seen pictures. He's just a normal dude in real life.
Well, like what? Like, I have a friend. I have a friend who watches TMZ. I don't know why.
Oh Jesus.
Well, and fucking like that TMZ like did a video or something, like it was on the fucking thing, and I came into the living room and like they like were like had a camera on Keanu, and like he was like signing autographs at the airport, and the guy's like, "Hey Keanu, did you put on some weight?" And the guy looks at Keanu, like Keanu looks at the guy and he's like, "Really, dude? Really?" Like, you know.
Yeah, badgering celebrities, that's fucking news.
It's like, what?
Would you say that? Would you just randomly say that to a good friend that you know at a place?
I'd say it to you because like we're friends and you know I'm giving you shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you, I guess a better way to phrase it is like if you are, you know, kind of friends with somebody, but not like super close friends like we are.
Yeah.
Would you just say that to them?
No, you don't say that.
No.
You know? Fucking.
They're just people. They have feelings.
Yeah.
They have feelings. They have lives.
You know?
And I now want to punch that person in the face because Reeves is a pretty fit guy.
Yeah.
The guy takes his craft very seriously.
Well, and
he's got conclusion in an action franchise to conclude next year. God damn it.
Yeah. And a TV show.
And a fucking TV show.
Which I'm looking for, like, okay. How much of a TV show is this? Like, what is it going to be? Is it just going to be like a Continental show? And like Keanu's going to show up every now and then? Is he just going to show up in the pilot?
Okay, so now that we're talking about this, okay, so the details are pretty light, but the gist of it that's been talked about in the past and recently is it's a spin-off that focuses on the Continental Hotel. Just that. And from what I get from this and from what's been said, Wick will play a semi-supporting character that makes cameo type appearances.
Okay.
So it's about a different cast of characters, and he's kind of in the backdrop that shows up every now and again, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Like, the show is about its setting and the characters relevant to that, not, hey, it's the Continental featuring John Wick.
Mm-hmm. My question is, if the hotel manager is not the main character, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
Yeah, I'd be upset. Lance Reddick is an awesome guy.
Yeah. Thank you. I couldn't remember his name. But yeah, like...
He makes a great villain.
I want to see him as the main character. Because, like, otherwise I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I would give a shit. Like, is it, like, is this going to be an action show? Is it going to be, like, a drama? Is it going to be, like, a thriller? Like, what is the category of this?
I don't really know what genre to put it in yet, since there's only so much information, but I would...
It'd be weird if it was like a sitcom.
Just incognito assassins just cracking wise about their professions.
Right?
No, it'd be like Archer, but in...
No, it's the Big Bang Theory of the John Wick universe.
Oh, Jesus.
Sad, pathetic, and goes on way too long and misrepresents its entire selling point.
I would almost call it... I almost want to say be kind of like a drama, an action thriller-esque drama. Like, the setup is pretty straightforward with a little bit of action here and there about...
Is it?
Because I'm trying to think, like, what's the story really going to be? Is it going to be just set within the walls of the hotel, or are we gonna get to see the outside of it? Because I'm totally game if they want to keep it set entirely within the hotel and focus on the people relevant to that establishment and just that. Or
well, that's why I think it'd be cool if, like, the hotel manager was the one. Like, if he's the one. Like, you make it like a Boardwalk Empire, like Breaking Bad.
Oh, no. Wait. No, you're thinking of... Sorry, we had a bit of a mix-up. It's like Lance Reddick was the concierge. Ian McShane was the manager.
No, on IMDb, he's credited as hotel manager.
Really?
Yep.
It's weird how it's like he manages the front desk and Ian McShane seems like the one who's calling all the shots.
Yeah. See, I don't know if you can see it on my phone, but
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, he's credited as hotel manager.
Huh. Well, let me just take that back.
I was right.
Rub it in. Yeah. Do what you will.
No, but I'm saying, like, that character. Make it a Boardwalk Empire, Breaking Bad kind of thing where, like, he has to run the hotel. Maybe someone's, like, you know, he's trying to take stuff. You know, he's taking orders from Ian McShane. You know, trying to deal with people at the hotel. You know.
That'd be nice. Be interesting.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, and because you don't really need the action element. I don't want there to be all these different subplots about the different assassins that work in this.
You can't do the John Wick style, and it's going to be hard to do the John Wick style action on a TV budget.
I could see it being plausible. I just the thing is the reason why John Wick is so interesting is because it's this entire world from his perspective.
Right.
They could have easily had multiple subplots or multiple scenes that show different characters in this environment, but no. They make it clear it's his perspective. It's his story. And that's the only perspective I want to really see this world from.
Right.
The action side, if I'm being more specific about it. But so to do a TV show with this kind of premise, I don't want to see the action side of it. I want to see, like, keep it out of there. What's the society like? How do these people interact more in depth?
Right.
Those kinds of things. The stuff where you can have scenes upon scenes of dialogue and interactions.
Well, when is John Wick 3 supposed to come out?
I think it was supposed to be 2019 because it's going into production this year, and
well, he apparently Lance is not in it.
The fuck?
He's not credited on it.
The fuck?
I'm gonna be disappointed if he's not in it.
Son of a bitch.
He has to be in it.
What's next? Are you gonna tell me Lou Leguizamo isn't coming back either?
Well, okay, to be fair... To be fair, only Ian McShane and Keanu Reeves are credited in the movie right now, so... Maybe
it's still early.
Yeah. I mean, it comes out next year.
Yeah, like I said, it's going into full production this year for 2019 release.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. I can wait.
Yeah.
This is one of those film franchises where I'm in no.
Well, it's one of those film franchises that legitimately kind of worked the way Hollywood's supposed to work. You make a good movie on a small budget, people see it, they like it. You get to do a second one with a bigger budget, and then you're like, oh, hey, do you want to finish up? You know, and you can end on a cliffhanger for the second one because you're like, hey, people really liked it, so let's take a risk. And then, the third one comes out, and, it's going to end the series, end this story.
It's going to be recent times perfect trilogy.
Right. It's.
Arguably. I'm pretty sure there's going to be people that are going to be like, no, not.
We just need to wait. Here's my thing. Is this going to be just a trilogy, or do you think there's going to be a fourth one?
Keep it as much as I love seeing Keanu Reeves kick ass, as he's been doing for the most part for years now. This has got to be one of those things that knows when to end, and it seems like the third movie is going to be the last one. They had a good run from 2014 to now. It's done. It's over. Because also the information is blatantly in our faces. Like, Reeves is a smart guy.
Yeah.
He's not an idiot. He's not stupid.
Matrix sequels notwithstanding.
I don't really think that was up to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's moderately involved in the process for these movies.
Yeah.
But he's not just, oh yeah, we're gonna just hand you a check and you're gonna show up on these days and do what you're told. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's actually involved in how this thing's going.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was the one who got the directors hired.
Yeah. Again, he's an essential part of this franchise.
Mm-hmm. And I love that this became a franchise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could have been a one and done movie. Like, oh yeah, Keanu Reeves is back, and then you forget about it.
Yeah, but no,
no, he's back, and he's staying around.
He says it in the movie. People keep asking if I'm back, and yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Well, I mean, he hasn't really gone anywhere. He's still been making movies, just nobody's really seen.
Right. Well,
and then like this is the first movie was the movie that possibly made people give a shit again.
Yeah. And then
not that he's making anything else significantly large right now. He's still doing small scale movies, which is fine.
He's doing that TV show.
He's what?
He's doing that TV show.
The John Wick series?
No, he's doing that TV show.
What? This is news to me. What show
he's doing the what's it called? I got his he's still.
To my knowledge, he's doing a.
He wants to do Rain, the TV miniseries. It's based on a book series.
Okay.
And he's doing a lot of like smaller stuff. So.
Well, that's what he. Well, again, when people say like, "Oh, Keanu Reeves is back," like he didn't go anywhere. This is, if anything, his big reintroduction to bigger Hollywood movies.
Right.
He's still been making movies, just smaller scale stuff for the past several years.
You know what movie I really want to see of his, but that I haven't yet?
What?
The Bad Batch.
When did that?
It's on IMDb. A love story set in the community of cannibals in a future dystopia in a desert wasteland in Texas. A muscled cannibal breaks one important rule: don't play with your food.
Wait, isn't that? That sounds familiar. Is that a newer one?
Yeah, it came out in 2016.
Holy, yeah.
Jason Momoa's in it.
What?
Jason Momoa's in it. Jim Carrey's in it.
Yeah. Like I heard about that movie. It was like a kind of like a sleeper hit last year.
Yeah, Giovanna Ribisi's in it.
Yeah, it was like a smaller scale project. Played like a supporting character in it.
Yeah, he plays the Dream.
Funny how there's a real life person named The Dream.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then he's still supposed to do Bill and Ted Face the Music. You know?
I'm not going to say anything because I might say because I should say anything.
But no, yeah, like I said, I'm just you know, I'm looking, you know, I'm just glad that you know, in my opinion, should Keanu Reeves have been Doctor Strange? Yes. Do I not like Benedict Cumberbatch? Yes. Do I think that Keanu would have made the movie darker? Yes. Would it have been better? Yes. But, you know, just because I'm right doesn't mean that you have to agree with me. You can be wrong. It's fine.
Don't kill my dreams of a Constantine return. Stop it.
It's been too many years, man.
That hasn't stopped a lot of other things. Fury Road.
How many, for every Fury Road, we get, like, how many Ghostbusters reboots?
Come on, man. I just brought up a good example. Why are you going to bring up a bad one?
Because that's how arguments work?
Come on, man. What are you doing?
Sorry.
No, Reeves could have been cool as Doctor Strange, but hey, things worked out for the better. Yeah. Point is,
I still think, and I know people hate me on it, I still think Reeves could have been a Jedi. Like he would have been great as like a Jedi Master. Like you gray up his hair a little bit, you give him a lightsaber, you put him in the robes, and you like imagine him talking about the ways of the Force. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I could totally picture that.
You know, and just him being like, the Force is an energy field that combines all living things. It surrounds us, it penetrates us, and it's excellent!
That's the guitar riff?
Yes.
It has nothing to do with non-existent microorganisms.
Yeah. It's magic,
it doesn't count. It's all about being radical.
And be excellent to each other.
No, yeah, he could have been our full-on hippie Jedi.
No, but like I'm saying, like, you know, you cast him as like a kind of somber, quiet, you know, character, but you know.
No, it's like his actions speak louder than his words. It's like you think he just sits on his ass and doesn't do a whole lot, but then he steps up and starts kicking tons of ass. Like
Luke did in Last Jedi, which you haven't seen yet.
Actually, I don't know where I saw this, but I saw a snippet of one of his action scenes, or his action scene, or whatever happens.
Who, Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Looked pretty awesome!
Yeah. But are you going to wait for it on DVD? Because I'm, you know...
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I don't know what I will do. Maybe we need to pitch that to Reeves before episode 9 goes into production. Hey, can you talk to somebody on the side about making this shit happen?
Yeah.
I understand I understand third John Wick's in production, but can we make this happen?
You need to be a Jedi. You
need to be a goddamn Jedi.
Well, here's the thing: if Star Wars was being made now, I could totally see him playing Obi-Wan.
You mean
like if they made New Hope now, I could totally see him playing.
Holy shit! Yes. Holy shit! Yes. Forget Alec Guinness. This is what we need.
Yeah, forget the guy with the knighthood and shit.
We need somebody that actually gives a shit about the movie they're making.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Alec Guinness did a great job, even though we didn't give a rat's ass about it.
Oh no, well, you heard about what he said to the little kid, one kid that asked him for his autograph, right?
Yeah.
He said he's seen the movie like 100 times or something. He says, "I will only sign you an autograph if you agree never to watch that rubbish again."
Yeah, he was. I don't know how they got him in that movie. He was just being but he.
Well, really no, he talks about it. There's like a famous interview he gave where he talks about it, where he's like, you know, I opened it up and I found it was science fiction. I said, "Oh, good lord, this is simply not for me." But a funny thing happened. I had to go on turning the page, and you know, and that's an essential in any script. And You know, and I looked at the film and I said, well, some of the dialogue's a bit ropey, but if we get some of the dialogue altered, no, I think I'll do this. You know. That's kind of what he said in the interview. And he's like, you know, and I saw the film. I mean, I've only seen the film once, and you know, it's marvelous escapism. You know, I came out of the cinema and said, "Oh, London's quite very droll and dirty, isn't it?"
Really stimulates the British stereotype, doesn't he?
Well, where's my fucking Oscar for playing Sir Alec Guinness, okay? And I'm an American.
When we do a table read of A New Hope, you'll get your goddamn Oscar.
Hell fucking yes.
Oh yeah, we need to do that for Halloween this year.
What?
Oh, a thing I've wanted to do for years now is do a table read of George Romero's script for a Resident Evil movie.
Oh, Dad, I'm down for that.
It's been on my. I downloaded a copy of it years ago, and it's been.
Dude, we should totally do voices for it. Like one of us. Like we should do person should be Arnold. One person should be like a chipmunk. You know what I mean? Like any voices we can do for like each character and assign a voice for each character.
Well, I wanted to put a little bit more production behind it because I wanted to do like, all right, here's as a diehard Resident Evil fan, here's what I want.
Okay.
I want you to do your best in. I want us to get a proper cast for this thing that nobody's gonna give a shit about. It's like I'm gonna have all of you sit down. I'm not gonna have you play the games, but I'm gonna have you sit down and watch cutscenes of the characters that are in the story.
Okay.
And I want you to do the best terrible impression of their performance from those games, and that's how you're gonna read the line, and that's how you're gonna read their dialogue. Dude,
I'm totally down for that.
Because.
Who do you want to cast me as? Ooh, who can I play?
Well, since you swayed me so much with that Alec Guinness impression, you can be Albert Wesker.
Oh, can I be?
You get to be the villain.
I wanted to be the sexy lady.
Really, you want to be Jill Valentine?
No, I'll be Wessler. I'll be Wessler. It's fine.
Wesker. Albert Wesker.
Wesker. I'm sorry. Wesker. At least I'll do better. At least I'll do better than that one guy who acted like he had his jaw wired shut.
What, Sean Roberts?
Yes.
No, Sean Roberts did a fine job. He just didn't have material to work with.
He's like, now let me say to you, Erlis, you need to leave now.
No, here's the problem. Albert Wesker is still, in my opinion, Resident Evil's best villain, which makes me all the more pissed that he's dead, because they haven't come up with a good one since. Alex Wesker comes close, but she's not as good as Albert. Mm-hmm. And they pulled that shit out of their ass, and it was okay. Like him having a fucking... No. But, yeah, he's the series' best villain, in my opinion. So, and the thing about it is that even though Paul W.S. Anderson is a fan of the franchise, he apparently didn't understand Wesker's character enough to give him more to do in his movies.
But if you're a fan of the series, then wouldn't you want to know the characters? And if doesn't matter if you're
this guy's been the villain. Has been the main villain of the series since the fucking original game, even its goddamn prequel.
Yeah,
this guy has been personally, discreetly and sometimes not discreetly orchestrating the events that go on in most of the games until his death in Resident Evil 5.
Well, and then that's when Resident Evil 6 sucked, and 5, but
6 is fun. It's not great, but it's fun.
It's not Resident Evil.
Tomato. It's one of my favorite games. It's probably my favorite game in the series until 7 came out.
I'm RE4. RE4 for life.
Have you played 7?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this.
Oh.
I don't think we talked about this.
Oh, I played 7.
Isn't it just great?
Yeah, it's really good. The title makes sense now.
What, the fact that if you basically think about it, like, if you think about it from a general sense, it's basically Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Great job, Capcom. You did it!
Well, let's be honest. Capcom was never known for their writing.
Well, the problem with 7 is that it was primarily written by it was done by Western writers.
Yeah.
This is the first major game in the franchise that was written entirely in the West.
And I mean, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but
with biological shit, so fine.
Yeah. But the
thing, yeah,
there was no Breakfast Club references anywhere in the film. Because do you ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up the poster for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and
this
joke is gonna be terrible for the audience, but it's gonna make you laugh.
What was I saying? Sean Roberts does a fine job with the material that he's given, even if it's not that good. But personally, if I could go back and make the movies, not that I'm saying I'm going to or really want to, but if I could, I suppose, then my first order of business is making him the central villain of the franchise, and the final chapter would have been about taking down Wesker for good.
Yeah, if you can see, they modeled the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 poster off of the Breakfast Club.
Get the fuck out. Oh, that's funny.
Yep. Because two is just in people will debate me oh, is 2 meant to be a comedy or is it meant to still be kind of scary? The poster is making fun of the Breakfast Club, and it was made almost 10 years later, a little over 10 years later actually. This is
some Duke Nukem 3D level shit here.
Oh God! For those
that don't know, Duke Nukem 3D's cover art is basically just a parody of Army of Darkness's poster.
Yeah.
It's an okay poster for the 90s, but still.
Well, Duke Nukem doesn't work as a character now.
Well, that's why Forever sucked ass.
Oh God. Well, why?
The person tried to explain to me that Forever isn't a completely terrible game because you have to keep in mind that none of this is supposed to be taken seriously, but the game design is so just...
Well, I was so disappointed because, having grown up played Duke Nukem 3D, that was, an awesome game because, you didn't have to fucking, you had none of this regenerating health bullshit. You had none of this, fucking, you actually had to go search for shit. And it was actually, well fucking designed. There weren't any mandatory puzzle parts,
Well, I think of it like this. If Duke Nukem Forever could have basically been what the new series of Wolfenstein games in Doom 2016 could have been in taking a classic shooter, giving it all of those retro elements with some modern elements, it could have been pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
But no, it had to be the poor man's modern day shooter with no self-awareness.
Yeah, and it looks fucking... Honestly, the graphics don't look good.
You think for a game that took over 10 fucking years to make, we would have gotten something good.
Right.
But sadly, no. Well, but hey, if it pisses you off that much, just play Doom 2016 or the new Wolfenstein games.
And do a bad Duke...
I absolutely love the new Colossus. I haven't finished it yet.
And do a bad Duke Nukem impression. I've come to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I actually had a pretty good Duke Nukem impression back a couple of years ago, but it did so much it's fucking tough on my vocal cords. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, it's a hard voice to fucking do.
I can if you want to see me do my gruff video game protagonist impression, I can do my BJ Blazkowicz impression. That's actually pretty spot on. But I'm not going to do it right now because I got stage fright.
Yeah.
You got to play the new Colossus when you get a chance. It's so fucking good.
I'm still waiting for Shadow of the Colossus.
Get out. What? Get out.
Get out? What the fuck is wrong with you? Shadow of the Colossus is fucking awesome.
It's taken over 20 years now, but I'm finally officially opening my horizons to more Japanese games. I've played a good deal of them over the years, but I'm opening my horizons.
Dude, okay. Do you like Final Fantasy? I forget.
No, I I have never played a Final Fantasy game in my life. It never was interesting to me. I was interested in playing Final Fantasy 15. Still haven't yet. Still would like to.
Good, because Shadow of the Colossus is the exact opposite of fucking Final Fantasy. No, like, seriously, because, like, it's a lot more like Metal Gear, where, like, it's literally just, here, go to boss, fight boss, kill boss, go to next boss, and try to kill.
I think you're missing the part where Metal Gear has shitloads
of really bad dialogue,
cutscenes and dialogue in between the stealth gameplay that you're expected to do.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like Shadow of the Colossus.
That's a bad thing. I love the Metal Gear series. I think a very good friend of mine for making me the fan of the series that I am today.
Mm. But no, like that's the thing. Like, you know, like it's you know, Shadow of the Colossus is just kind of like, okay, go fight this giant monster. Okay, what do I do now? Go fight the next giant monster.
Well,
that's what I love about that game.
Well, I saw gameplay for it when I was a kid, and it just really wasn't sticking with me back then, and I just haven't really looked at it since.
Right.
So maybe I can try the remaster when that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm opening my horizons to more full-on Japanese games, whatever that means. I've already kind of got.
Well, like when we meet up again, I'm gonna let you borrow my DS so you can play Chrono Trigger.
What are you talking about? I just need the copy of the game. I have my 2DS XL right here.
Okay, yeah, then fine. Yeah, I'll let you my copy of the game. Because you've never played Chrono Trigger.
I have never played Chrono Trigger,
Oh,
and the thing is, strategy tactics games are kind of a hard sell for me. That's kind of the more Japanese stuff that I'm getting my feet wet with. I played a demo for Project X Zone 2 actually yesterday, and I kind of played it again today. I was surprised by how much I liked it, regardless of the fact that it's basically a nostalgia fest for a video game franchise for Capcom, Namco, and Sega, and now Nintendo.
Right.
I love it. It's actually really good. So I'm definitely going to play that and more strategy and more tactic strategy games like Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy, that kind of stuff. Something I was playing before that's kind of like that is Persona. I really do like Persona. Persona 4.
Do we have
Persona 4? What?
Do we have any new information on Spider-Man for PS4?
New information on Spider-Man.
Is it getting rebooted again?
No, the new information on Spider-Man is the possibility that we may be getting a box art reveal soon, and maybe some new official information about it alongside a release date. In theory, and this is coming from the game's art director. I believe her name is Jessica Chu. Pardon me if I mistake that. Replied to some fan responses on Twitter about some questions about the game, and basically the most important information from it is that they're finalizing the box art for the game.
Okay.
And doing some other things artistic-wise. I think it was over like a week ago. It was confirmed that they're doing play tests, that they're doing a studio-wide play test. So what this basically means is that the gist of the game is finished finished in enough of a playable state that I guess they're just ironing out the bugs and getting it finalized. I think a new hire on that they brought onto the team to work on the game, Brian Horn. He actually worked on the Tomb Raider series before going to Insomniac. Has already said that he's played the game 3 times now. He's done 3 playthroughs of the game. So that's more information to say that it's pretty much finished at this point. They're just doing those final touches and whatever they need to do to finish it. And it's funny because they got a lot of people stirred up and saying, "Oh no, the game's super short." Like, guys, there's no context for this. When they say, "Oh, this is my 3rd playthrough," you honestly don't know how long the game has been in this kind of state and how long the studio has been actually officially playing it.
The person who's designed it probably knows how to get through it really, really, really fast.
Yeah, possibly, and that's information that could have been passed around to the rest of the team. Because then Brian Horton had to go on Twitter and clarify it takes multiple days to finish the game.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid. And then another thing, and it's funny, and again, there's another thing that people are being dumb about is some people are speculating that some people are speculating that it's going to get delayed to 2019 or that it's going to come out in late 2018. All right. Again, we don't have enough information to confirm any of this because Insomniac is still saying nothing outside of a couple responses aside from a couple responses to people on Twitter and other social media, mostly Twitter, to my understanding. They said, look, at E3 2017, they said the game is coming out in 2018. And given their track record, given their reputation, that's all you need to know, that they mean it.
Well, I mean, James, you don't understand. We're 17 days into 2018, and the game is not here yet. So we're panicking because there's only 350 days left in the year. Okay, that's not a lot of days.
Well, everybody just needs to calm down. Development takes a shitload of time. I mean, the fact that a game of this scope was started in 2014 and is now coming out pretty much 4 years later, this is remarkable.
Yeah.
A game of this scope coming out 4 years later, I mean, projects vary and depending on what kind of resources and budget and schedules that they need. But a game of this scope, 4 years of development time, that's good enough.
I mean, Spider-Man, we were in the Andrew Garfield movie stages at that point.
Yeah, I mean, 2014, the Amazing Universe is pretty much fucked. The 2014 game sucked ass. Sony said, you know what? We need to reevaluate how Spider-Man games are made. So let's do this. Let's instead put this in the hands, and I'm not shitting on Vnox. You did the best that you could with what you were given. It just wasn't good enough.
I blame Activision.
It just wasn't good enough.
I blame Activision.
Blame Activision too. They did what they could. But Spider-Man's a pretty important brand, so we got to take this shit seriously. So they said, all right, let's reevaluate this. Let's do what we can with it. So they decided, you know what? Let's put this in the hands of a developer that has a good reputation, has a good track record, that we can put a lot of faith into to deliver the best product possible. And Insomniac are the right guys for the job.
Yeah.
And based on everything that we've seen up to this point, I have no reason to doubt or take that back.
Well, and based on their company name, they don't sleep, so they're working all day and night on this.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Bad puns.
If you watch their live streams, they make it clear that they took a pretty long vacation during the holiday season. So, but that's pretty funny. But yeah, they're putting a lot of time and effort and resources. But because it's coming out in 2018, we still don't have a release date. We have to flip our shit and overreact to every little bit of information we get.
Wait, the internet overreacted to something? Oh my god!
Yeah.
I need to tweet about this and say, oh my god, I'm so shocked that the internet overreacted to something.
Yeah, but these kinds of things take time. But the fact that they said, hey, 2018 is when you get in the game, I believe them. Yeah. And another bit of, if there's another little bit of information to reassure you, just go to GameStop.com. This isn't official. But I found with game releases in the past that if we have, a feasible window, that's a pretty good indicator of when we're going to get the title. And if you go to GameStop's website, it presently says that the game is scheduled for June 30th, 2018 at the most. So that pretty much ties into the statement that Sean Layden made last year, saying, all of PlayStation 4's big first-party titles are coming out in the first half of 2018. Is that 100% accurate? Is that something that's going to be delivered on? Who the hell knows?
Right.
But if he said that, and we have a website that's posting this highly anticipated game is coming out, is scheduled for what otherwise looks like the first half of this year, and to my understanding, close to the second quarter of this year. then that's a pretty fucking strong indicator that we're probably going to get it in the first half of this year. And going off of the information that Insomniac is now doing a studio-wide playtest of the game, that's pretty much all the information you need to know that this is probably in the final last few months of development as they iron out the bugs, as they play test it, get all the data and information they need to know that this is the best product that they can make, that it's in the best state possible, that it's fucking finished, and then more trailers, more gameplay demonstrations, and a marketing campaign is going to roll around soon to follow. I imagine, but given how close they are keeping this project to the chest and how sparingly they're giving information on their social media account, I wouldn't be surprised that we have to wait until the day this game goes gold, that we will get a new trailer, that we will get a release date, that we will get bundles upon bundles of more information about this game. But until that day comes, we just have to be patient. We just have to be patient with them. And stop overreacting to every little bit and piece of information that means absolutely nothing. Or is not as significant at all. Everywhere I look for news about this game, it's people that are overhyping or over-exaggerating to the littlest shreds as possible or confirmed information and making it into a spectacle. Just fucking wait. Jesus.
So, I think we got time for one more thing because I have class in like 5 hours. So.
Looks like you got student problems.
I know. Hashtag college student life.
I guess one more thing could be we just shred through all of the little things. Could have talked about, but didn't because you decided to change the format.
Oh my! I'm sorry. We're like 2 hours. I'm sorry.
Cry me a river. Kid.
I will cry you a lake, sir, not a river. Okay.
I'm more of a man than you think. I will deliver you the big stuff in the form of
because you know what happened the last time someone cried a river? She cried a river and drowned the whole world. Okay, do you want me to drown the whole world?
No. Because as much as I talk about being ready to die, I still would like to live just a little while longer.
Please tell me.
Sounds like Spider-Man!
Please tell me that you got the reference. Please. Okay, thank you. I'm not too old. Okay. Okay, I'm just, I'm
not that stupid or young.
No, I didn't, I just, I go to, one of my classmates, so.
Yeah.
Okay, the last thing kinda I want to talk about is, like, fuck Disney for moving back New Mutants 10 months. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Deadpool got moved up a week. Or 2 weeks, and fucking New Mutants got pushed back 10 months?
Fuck Disney. Like, what's the logic behind this? What's the goddamn logic?
Yeah.
Because from my understanding, New Mutants was more along with its production than Deadpool 2.
Dude, New Mutants was supposed to come out in April.
Well, yeah, again, from what I know, it's like this movie was more along than Deadpool 2. New Mutants, we actually have feasible information in a goddamn
trailer. Yeah.
We have a synopsis, we have a trailer. Deadpool 2, we have
a teaser.
An unorthodox teaser.
Right.
No synopsis.
Right.
No real official photos. With a cut, like there's a small bundle of them.
Right.
But what I'm getting at is we have more on New Mutants than we do Deadpool 2. So why the change up?
And pushing it back to February is such a good sign that either the studio has faith and that they're not just going to go and recut the entire movie.
This isn't Mad Max Fury Road where it gets made and it's just sitting around waiting to be distributed for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie this is a more ambiguous idea.
Well, it's an X-Men horror film.
Yeah.
You know?
It isn't going to rely entirely on Hugh Jackman.
Yay! Oh my god! Holy
Who
shit!
the fuck knew?
This would actually be one of 2 X-Men movies that this would be the only X-Men movie that doesn't have a fucking Hugh Jackman cameo.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Are they trying to add Hugh into this? Are they trying to add Hugh into this?
They're just gonna poorly green screen him into one of the shots. No, it's gonna be like the green screen Jean-Claude Van Damme footage. He's just gonna do that with Hugh Jackman.
Oh god!
I can picture it now.
Mm.
It's gonna look terrible.
What's gonna be worse, his cameo in this or his cameo in fucking Apocalypse?
You mean Dark Phoenix?
Well, I don't know. No, yeah. Because I was trying to make a joke, and I screwed it up, and then you corrected me, and I got stumbled. But, like, my joke was, his cameo in X-Men Apocalypse was terrible. Like, he was so shoehorned into the movie. Like, the movie literally stops to say, Wolverine! Okay, let's go back to the plot.
Yay! Well, one of the most interesting things about Wolverine's character and his backstory just fucking shoehorned into this film. It sucks.
Yeah.
I wasn't even impressed. I groaned in my seat in the negative way.
That's... God.
I'm pretty sure I was a theater-wide distraction because of how obnoxious I was with my distaste of that cameo.
The only great thing in that movie was fucking Quicksilver.
Yeah, Evan Peters deserves his credit.
Yeah,
but he's not getting the shit kicked out of him by Emma Roberts.
Wow, deep cut. Holy shit.
I don't even know the context for what happened there. I just know it happened.
Do you have anything else? Because
speaking of Disney being fucking weirdos, apparently there's a report that all of the current Marvel animated shows are getting canceled.
Okay. I'm glad.
I don't care about 2 out of the 3 of those. I'll give you 3 guesses as to which one I'm referring to.
Spider-Man?
Hey, he's right on the money.
Oh my god.
Spider-Man is the biggest silver lining to come out of this if it happens. Yeah. I have tried to open my mind to this show and what it's doing, and I still can't. It is so terrible. So poorly made.
Is it worse than Ultimate?
Well, see, Ultimate, as terrible as Ultimate is in my eyes, at least that had some effort put into what they set out to do. Marvel's Spider-Man is basically just phoned in. It's kind of like, all right, Ultimate Spider-Man's over. We need to make a new Spider-Man show right away. And they just put the entire thing on autopilot, and this is what you get.
Nothing's gonna fucking top Spectacular, man.
Well, this is why we need to bring back Spectacular Spider-Man.
They owe me a stick.
Because there's just never going to be another good Spider-Man show.
They owe us a season 3.
Yeah. They give us a season 3, or somebody needs to make a season 3. Somebody just fucking do it.
Just bootleg it.
Just do it, because I'm so sick of these shitty Spider-Man. This is why I'm so excited for Insomniac for Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. Mm-hmm. Because I haven't seen anything this good Spider-Man related in a very long time. And the fact that it's a video game is a cake topper. And I know what some of you might be thinking. What about Spider-Man Homecoming? Didn't you like that? Yes! But in retrospect, there are things I don't like about it. I'm not going to spend, to help you, I'm not going to spend several minutes going on about the things I don't like about Spider-Man Homecoming that makes it,
I would gladly do a video about that with you tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm not going to go on for several minutes talking about the things about Spider-Man Homecoming that don't work in my opinion.
We're going to make that video tomorrow, and we're going to do the other commentary. But I want to do that Spider-Man Homecoming video with you because I have so many things to complain about with that movie.
We're just now bringing this up now.
Yeah. Oh, and yes, no. This is how thought out our plan is. Okay.
This is our master plan.
Yeah. Also, what was I gonna say? Shoot,
It's not a bad movie. There are a lot of things that are good about it, but there's a lot of things that are not good about it.
Yeah.
If it weren't an MCU movie,
the writers. Quick thing before we go, the writers of that and the Vacation remake are doing the Flashpoint movie. I don't know if we talked about that.
Yes, the new Flashpoint.
I didn't
hope they do a kick-ass job, and I'm pretty sure they will because the writing in Homecoming was pretty good.
I didn't like their writing in the Vacation remake, but again,
I didn't, so I wouldn't know.
I don't know. I want to know how much of that script was actually written and how much of it was improv, because you look at the Vacation remake and you look at Spider-Man Homecoming and it's Spider-Man Homecoming has themes and setup and payoff and can have funny lines, and then the Vacation remake was a movie that I went to see in an empty theater when I worked at a movie theater, and there were times where I got out of my seat and I stood in the aisle because I could not physically sit down because I was like, oh God. And then I went out into the hallway and talked with my buddy who was ushering that day. And then I would go back in because I didn't want the movie to beat me.
You sound like Red Letter Media when they watch a Transformers movie.
I hated that movie so bad. Okay, this is one of the this is a joke in the movie, okay? You ready for this hilarious joke?
Oh Jesus.
Okay? You ready? They stop at a restaurant and fucking the little kid is like, "Hey Dad, I was in the bathroom and there was a hole in the stall." What? And then the wife goes, "Oh, what? Why is there a glory hole in the bathroom? What's a glory hole?" "Oh, son, a glory hole is where you put your penis." Okay, we're gonna go now. That's a joke, okay? So the dad was about to explain to his son what a glory hole was. Then later on, when the son is talking to this girl that's on vacation, that is on vacation with another family, the dad explains to the son what a rim job is. And a rim job, apparently to the dad, is kissing someone with the rim of your mouth. Or a scene where they think they find a spa part, a natural spring, and it turns out to be a sewage dump. So they're rubbing shit on themselves. Get it? Because it's funny. Because it's shit. And this scene
that was in one of the trailers, and I
goes
remember just rolling my eyes
for 15 minutes.
Jesus Christ, that's not funny. And if it wasn't the son in that movie, he seemed like he was in it. Wasn't he in his teens or something?
Yeah,
he looks like he should have know what Urban Dictionary is.
Yeah.
These are I knew what those things were well before I was an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Because the society we live in is just so fast.
As long as they don't write it like that or direct it like that, I'm fine.
Hey, as long as they make Jeffrey Dean Morgan a kick-ass Batman, that's gonna be fine.
All right. Well, hey, I'm done for the night. So
I
will talk to you later. We're at 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Yay! We're not breaking that record anytime soon.
Oh no, we're not breaking that record anytime soon.
No. But yeah, definitely leave feedback in the comments about about the little change up we did this time around.
Yeah, of just just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. If you guys like that more,
or would you rather us go through specific topics and get sidetracked between?
Okay, well,
please.
Yeah,
the feedback is so important to us. That's how we feel like we're needed.
Yes,
really.
Validate us. We're so. Validate us. We're so sad and pathetic. But, alright, well, thank you guys, as always. If you like the video, like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to support us, please go to our Patreon account at patreon.com/LazyHubProductions. And you can also follow us on Twitter. Alright, good night, guys.
Farewell.